Well, good evening, guys, and thank you for tuning in to another show of the Sofa Real Talk. And I do believe we have yet another great show topic, definitely. And we have a new guest. And so, if you don't mind introducing yourself, we'll totally appreciate it.
Good evening. First, thank you for having me tonight. I'm so excited and I look forward to this conversation. I am Evita Smith. I am the senior pastor and founder of Kingdom Seekers Community Church in Atlanta, Georgia. I am also the owner of Exceptional Living Empowerment Coaching, and it's a coaching practice that we focus on life and development, designing our lives in the way that we are supposed to live according to God's principles, as opposed to just living every day. We don't do that 9 to 5. We figure out what is our purpose and we try to live it and live that life exceptionally. So that is a little bit about me in a nutshell.
I like that though, that purpose. Like I was saying in the background, that was like one of my hardest things. That assignment was like given to me at an early age, and I was like, no, 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 God, you got the wrong, you got the wrong person. So I'm gonna go find a different assignment that maybe you'll approve of. And he just kept bringing me right back to where I'm at. So I'm definitely enjoying the assignment here. It it comes with resistance, unfortunately, because of how people perceive not only themselves but other people.
Mhm.
So, and if you see here, our topic is, did I really understand the assignment? I had come across Miss Smith on Instagram, and that was the topic of her post, understanding the assignment, which is something that we hear on a daily basis, definitely on social media. Everybody,
Mhm.
saying that lovely hook, understand the assignment.
Yes.
Um, and if you really think about it, I'm a person, I'm very transparent. I love throwing myself up under the bus. My previous relationships, I definitely did not understand the assignment. I took a position of healing and helping someone to finding something in them that I liked, and I fell in love with them, and I just went past the assignment, and it was just bad. So I think what people call it a fixer.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yes, a
I was
fixer.
that. I am definitely that, and that was one thing that I had to come to grip with a walk that I took with God, understanding that the next person that I came in contact with that I seriously wanted to have in my life as a partner,
Hmm.
I had to grow and heal with her, not heal her. So
Big
um
difference.
yeah, it's a big difference. So what made you come up with that? Which we're going to show the video a little later on in the video. But what made you come up with that post?
I think one of the things is that we hear it, as you said, it's become a phrase that everybody's very excited about because of the song that came out. And so when you see anything from how somebody dressed to something somebody did, they say they understood the assignment. Well,
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes we can use that and use it so casually, but do we really understand the assignments of our lives? That we have assignments in different capacities, but do we really understand that it is an assignment? And what does that assignment look like? What does it require of us? Are we really prepared to fulfill the assignment? And so when I heard that song and saw it used in so many places, it really hit me one day as I was sitting and thinking about what we're going to discuss the next week. And I was like, okay, let's talk about, do we really understand our assignments in whatever capacity that is? And whether it's your assignment, the calling on your life, whether it's the relationship, it's in the business, whatever, do you understand the assignment? And a lot of times we don't, like you were just saying, in relationships, we don't understand it. Are these temporary assignments? Are we sent into somebody's life for a specific purpose? And once that
Right.
task is complete, we are to move on? Or is this a lifetime partnership and that there are going to be a series of assignments that we help to fulfill? But we have to understand what is the assignment. And so then we can operate in that when we get that clarity.
Okay, cool. So with that, we do have some bullet points here I'd like to go over with you guys, where so many people find themselves, and pretty much kind of piggyback off of what we just stated. So many people find themselves in the midst of a relationship, wondering how it got to where it is after how it started. Um, Understanding the initial assignment. Is this a potential friendship? We underestimate the assignment of just becoming friends, not friends with benefits. Have you, with your coaching, come across any situations where the like relationships or where people find themselves beneficial friends versus just yeah.
I think in our society, and especially how we look at people in single life, it's like it's almost a curse. And so often people run to whatever comes available and they think that this is going to be it. They don't look at how do we build a friendship. A lot of people don't even know what being friends is. And
Mm,
so they'll take every relationship that comes and they keep wondering, why do I keep going through heartbreak after heartbreak? And it's like, what was the purpose in the relationship in the first place? How did it start? Did you start that, we're going to get married tomorrow? As opposed to, do I even take time to get to know this person? Why
okay.
has this person come at this particular time? And so we sit and we look and we don't take that time to look inside of ourselves and say, well, what is going on in me? Because sometimes we don't realize that we're attracting something that's really needing to be fixed in us.
Right,
And so
right.
we'll allow that person to come in and we don't realize that it's really going to do more damage because we haven't taken the time to say, what's going on in me? Or looking at that person and realizing that there's, like you said, you were a fixer, that you want to fix situations. And there are a lot of people who are out there that they get assignments that they want to fix everything, but you don't realize that you're just supposed to help that person get to healing, not necessarily stay with them forever. And then you wonder why the
Mhm.
relationship continues to deteriorate because it was never a relationship, it was a situationship. This was a
Ah.
situation for us. We were in a
Situation.
situation as opposed
Right.
to a relationship because we never built a relationship because we didn't get to know each other. We didn't get to find
Yeah.
out who that person is or why are we together. And so now we have this situation and everybody's trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah, I found myself in a whole bunch of those. Yeah, but you said something that makes me think about how people refuse to ask questions, and maybe not just questions, the right questions, afraid that if I ask these particular questions, this person is going to run off away from me. And I've had a couple of people um tell me that I tell too much.
Mhm.
I'm just totally too transparent. And I don't know. I again, for me, God has basically just put it on my heart, and definitely with this relationship that I'm in now. I was at that situation where people listening to people say, "Hey, you tell too much," so I'm going in on this, and like I'm gonna be a little brief. I'm gonna tell a little bit here, tell a little bit there, and while we becoming friends and whatnot, and we were finna take our first vacation, and God was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm finna go enjoy myself." And he's like, "Nope, you gotta put everything out on the table." Um, yeah, after the vacation. I got you. Nope. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, what if you don't? I'm sitting up here fussing and crying with myself. What if you don't
Mhm.
like me? Type thing. But surprising, we talked. We had our tearful moments. She shared some things. I shared some things. Um, we had our little awkward silence, and we figured out then that more than anything that we were, I'm not going to say meant to be then as we feel meant to be now, but this relationship is going to be okay. The fact that we opened up the way that we did, and definitely a scary moment. And I tell anybody, ask those hard questions at the very beginning, because not only does that prevent missing red flags down the line, and I'm only talking to someone that is talking to a truthful, honest person, because you do
Mhm.
have people that will just still lie to you regardless of what questions you're asking. Jalissa says, so true. OMG, take it away. She's pretty much agreeing with the situationships. um, and the ministry. And is it hard? Like, do you just find numerous people that find themselves in these situationships that are like, I just can't tell my all?
I think you get some, but I one of the things that we look at is that dating has become a game. And so
Okay.
people are only saying what they feel the other person wants to say, or they're asking only what they feel like they want to know in terms of to get to whatever they designed in their head for this particular event. But you have to start to look at, can I trust this person? And you have to begin to start with basic questions, because your goal is to get to know, is this person somebody that needs to be in my life long term, or is this something that I need to pass on? And
Yeah.
oftentimes, because we did not have those conversations, and I'll say also, a lot of people are not equipped to have those conversations because we haven't
Mm,
been taught to do that. You go up to somebody, you like them, you let them know you like them, you want to take them out, and just go on. But now, especially as you start to date older, that you have to ask those questions, because that's your life. And you have to understand, does this person align with where I'm going, the purpose for my life, what I want to see in the long term? Do they have the values that I have? And so if you haven't had those conversations, you find yourself down the road in a mess, because that wasn't really where you even started, because you didn't start on a foundation of getting to know people. And I have a
mm.
word that I use all the time, is that I talk about, does this person have the capacity? Do you have the capacity to hold what I share with you? And so
Ooh.
we have to look at, when we start talking about we're telling too much, or we're sharing too much, or we're asking wrong questions, does this person have the capacity to handle what I'm about to share with them? Can they hold who I am? And we don't reveal who we are because we're all living behind a mask. That
Yeah.
I look this way, I talk the talk, I walk this walk that makes me pleasing to you. But do you have the capacity to really handle who I am?
Hmm.
What's really at my core? And can I reveal that to you and you don't run away if you're meant to be here?
That was that I definitely like that. The capacity, almost like what size is your hard drive, pretty much.
Exactly.
Do you have enough storage space? Because some people come with a lot. It doesn't mean that they are bad people.
No.
And definitely when you're starting off with trying to find if this is a potential friendship,
Hmm.
um, definitely more than anything. Well, I'm not saying more than anything. Even then, you should ask questions. If it's not going into an actual relationship type thing. Um,
The questions test the
ours,
waters.
yes, it does.
It
And
tests the
trust
waters.
me, especially with men, they'll run. If the questions get a little too hard, or you starting to get a little too, yeah, and I say, I won't say 100%, but I would say 60% of men that decide to run or don't call you back after you bombarding them with questions. Yeah, if you were trying to get in a relationship with them, yeah,
You just saved
it
your
definitely,
life.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell a lot of people that I talk to write 10 things down about what can make a relationship work for you, with the mindset of being able to change those, because that person may give you a legitimate reason why they can't provide that particular service of what you're asking of them. And if that is the case, then y'all can work it out. But dating and trying to find someone is almost like a job application.
It is. I explain it
And
that way, actually.
I definitely explain it that way. Um, the second one is this someone I'm supposed to aid with self-healing? There's many situations where you may find yourself involved with someone that's broken and you see potential in them to be a great partner. The time you put in with aiding them through their healing becomes more of a project in which genuine love is not established. Now, with this one, definitely can throw myself up under the bus. This was probably my main issue. Finding myself with a broken person and getting to know them and realizing that, okay, they're broken, but you know what? God darn it, they're cute. Oh, they actually are nice individuals. You know what? They're pretty cool. Man, I really like them now. And then um, you end up in so many ways, so many people become father figures or mom figures, or just a parental figure, and it's almost like you're raising the person, and that animosity and judgment because of stuff that you're saying, they it becomes heavy. And I definitely found myself in a lot of relationships like that.
Well, one of the things that sometimes people's issues attract other people. If
Mm,
there's something that is in my ego, for instance, that I need to be needed, I need to be wanted. And I can do that because I can supply an answer for this person, or I can fix something in them, or I can do something that meets a need in them, then that's feeding me. And so now the relationship is becoming this codependent situation. It's not a
mhm.
relationship. We're codependent because I need to be needed and they need what I give. And so we don't really have a healthy relationship because we're really in it for the wrong reasons. And so we have to ask ourselves when we think, oh, I want a relationship where I'm needed. No, you want to be wanted, because if you're needed, then you don't know if that person's in that relationship because of what you supply or because they really are in it for you. And so
Okay.
we have to say, what is broken in me that may attract me to this situation? What didn't I get that I'm trying to heal in myself because I'm still attracted to this? And so then when you realize that there's some work I need to do in me that causes me now to need to step back, you start to look at it with a completely different perspective. And so we have to really evaluate what drew us together. And if you see that, okay, that person's cute, but now you're starting to see all their issues and you're like, oh, I can fix that. Why do you feel like you need to fix them?
Mm.
Who's told you that you were to fix them? There's a difference in helping somebody to heal versus
Yep.
fixing them.
Yep.
And if I'm to
That's what I had
journey
to
with
learn.
you, I can journey with you to your healing. But is that
Yep.
the end of the road? And so when we start to ask these questions, it's a dialogue that has to happen between both people. Are we
Yes.
in this because I'm supposed to help you to get to a certain place, but that's not for us to get to forever? Because you have to ask yourself, did I fall in love with the problem?
Ah. Mm.
Some of us are falling in love with the problem because it's going to give us something to always work on. And men like to have
Yep.
things that they can fix.
Mm.
And women like somebody who can fix something for them. But we have to, did I fall in love with the problem? I
You
never saw
know,
the person, I saw the problem.
and with you saying that, I can actually say that I am happy that I did catch myself with that, with a friend, that I can still say that we're friends now after realizing that I was not, after analyzing the whole situation, and I just, it wasn't going to work out as a relationship. And I needed to go ahead and just step away from that because I did find myself doing that exact thing. And that I definitely did want to continue to be friends with this person because I did still care. And so, and I know, guys, a lot of people feel that you can't be friends after being with someone. You actually can. I think there's like one of the most grown up things that people can do, leaving a relationship, regardless of how it end, come back and mend and, actually be true friends versus, just sitting up here and spewing out bad things about each other on a constant basis, or I can't talk to this person due to how we ended. Um, but yeah, I did find myself fixing, and it wasn't beneficial for a partnership. And not saying that my fiance now doesn't have issues, or not saying that I don't have issues myself now, but I can say we are at a point to where, cause she was a fixer too as well, but we are growing and healing together. We sit down and we have a dialogue about stuff that's going on with us, or something that may have hurt us, and we're able to actually speak about it. And I think that's like the best thing ever in the whole entire world. It just lifts off a heavy burden to be able to talk to your partner.
It does. And we have to look at it in relationships. We're not in that relationship to fix them. And we have to learn how to sit in the tension, that sometimes we have to sit in the pain and we have to journey with them to their healing. But when
Hmm.
we look at it like, I can't fix you, because sometimes the issues are way too deep. You need to go to
Yeah.
therapy, go into prayer, and all these things. It's not I'm abandoning you. What I'm doing is I'm learning to sit with you, and
Mm.
I'm going to be there with you as you go through it. But don't look for me to fix you, because I have issues too. And when we get
Yep.
to that place of understanding, I'm not your fixer, then we can evaluate the issues in a whole different light.
Like that. Miss Tashawn agree, well, stated the capacity situation. Miss Jalissa, trauma bonding. She states no more fixing for her. Tashawn said, boom, falling in love with the problem. Um, Jalissa, falling in love with the problem. Okay, got, yeah, it's and she's right. You see it on social media on a daily basis. And even out walking, people are fixated on toxicness. It's sad. Like, people are afraid to be happy. And it's something that I used to hear a lot of, where people say, if you ain't had an argument yet, then you're not in a real relationship. And that was the first thing me and my fiance was talking about at the very beginning, before we even got serious. I am not going to argue with you. I shouldn't have to argue with you. If we can't sit and have a discussion, not saying that discussions may be a little, I'm not going to say heated, but just a little heavy, not word calling, or,
Right.
just a little heavy disagreement, that's different. But me yelling, and then you yelling over top of me yelling, trying to get me to understand, that's not a relationship. And a black community is like, that's it. If I am pulling your hair out or jumping on your back, this is not a relationship.
We have
It's
seen
crazy.
so much toxicity through generations, and a lot of
Mm,
people don't have a healthy perspective of relationship.
no.
And so I think when people say, "Oh, if you haven't had an argument, you haven't had a relationship," that is not to have the argument, it's to understand how that person reacts in times of tension. That you do need to see how that person deals with certain things. And even when you don't see eye to eye, how do you react? Is that person hot headed? Do they have a temper? Does it cause all? You need to see that because you need to be able to make an informed decision. Is this something I can handle?
Yes.
But not just so that we can fight, because that should not be our goal. We have to understand learning healthy communication skills so that we can know how to disagree in a healthy way and understand that sometimes we need to walk away and say, right now, this is not the time. I
Yeah.
can't discuss this with you because I understand I'm getting a little elevated. But to come back to a place and say, how can we talk about this in a healthy way? And even if we still don't agree at the end, that we agree to disagree. And it's not a slight against that person or against
Mm,
yourself, but it's the fact that this is just something that we have two different opinions about. And that's okay. And oftentimes I tell people sometimes you need to go into a neutral space. Don't go over to that person's house or this person come over your house, that you find a place where you can talk in neutral ground because we get amped up in our own space
yeah.
and we feel a little more powerful. But if we're really going to have a healthy conversation, where can we really sit and discuss this and understand that, yes, we may not agree, but we're going to leave this table, this moment, and say that at the end of it, even if we disagree, we respect the other person's opinion.
Exactly. Man, that's like something that people definitely need to understand. Just because we disagree, don't mean I have to stop loving you.
No.
Jalissa says, I was thinking maybe that's been wrong of me to do. Falling in love with the problem, I would assume. And she also states, why do we have a desire to fix people? Um, wow. You want to take that one?
Why do we have a desire to fix people? I think we have a desire to fix people. One, like some of us are just, we love to see people at their best. And so we want to
Yes.
try to make them whole. But I'll take it back also to the fact that sometimes we want to fix people because we need that. We need to be able to say, I fixed them. It wins you a prize in your own mind, or that person sees you in a different light. They put you on that pedestal because they fixed this. But then
Mm.
at the end, it's like, now you need something else. It becomes like your drug of choice.
Project again. Yep. Yep.
I
A
need
project
you to be,
becomes a drug.
I can't be in love with you unless you have a problem.
Problem. Yep. So then you
And
end up
once
moving
you
on to somebody else.
right. I'm just jumping from relationship to relationship, looking for that person that I can fix. I want to be that Superman. I want to be that Superwoman. I want to be able to say that I can fix anybody. But at the same
Yeah.
token, you can't ever see that person healed because you're always
Yeah.
looking for a problem.
Yep.
And so we have to be able to really look at ourselves. It really takes it back. Relationships work only by the work that we've done with ourselves. If we don't
Mm.
do that internal work, our relationships are always destined to have struggle.
Taking accountability for your brokenness and healing yourself. And even if you're not completely healed, doesn't mean that you can't find yourself in a great relationship, but
Mm-mm.
just having an openness and understanding that. And it's just like me, in our previous marriage, I can't sit and say that she was all the problem. I had to sit and understand that I stayed in a relationship that I knew was dead long before I left. And I tell people you can't blame someone for you staying in something that you knew that wasn't working. And a lot of people tend to sit and I'm not going to be the one to leave first. Yeah, they're gonna say it. They're gonna end it. Because I don't want to look like the bad guy. Or going back to what you was just stating about her question, and definitely, if you have to be that person to say, I did this, I helped you through this, when you start having to do a checklist off of what you did for this person in order for this person to show some form of respect, or if this person does decide to move on and you see them being great on, because I think people, I I'm not saying that men don't do this, but I know a lot of females find themselves saying, "Oh, she has my life," or "I fixed him up to be with you, and that's not fair." I put in all the work. I did the footwork to get him to where he is in order for him to do that to you. That's supposed to be me type thing.
That might have been your
So
role. That might have been your assignment.
yes, unfortunately,
That might have been your
uh,
assignment to get them to that place and be okay with, if you know that was the role I played in your story,
yeah,
then I did my job. And I believe that
well,
God
it's a
honors
hard
that.
pill. It's a hard pill for people to swallow. Ms. Whitney says, "Why fix people? The natural sensibility of people, particularly women, has been exploited for men. Help turns into control." And I can see that definitely. Me and Bay here recently come across a couple of TikToks where these crazy men are misusing the concept of submission. If so, I'm gonna go ahead and say they're telling that a woman assignment is to basically just sit there and whatever I say goes, and it's infuriating to me that you men fix their mouths to, and especially black men, definitely knowing our history and the black female history, for us to sit and constantly drag and dog and say that we don't like black women because they talk too much, or and not understanding that. And I'm not taking anything away from a person that's probably is doing something vindictive, because I've had a couple of those, but just in general, where men fail to realize that we have placed a lot of black women in a position of where they are, where they really don't need us, because we get them pregnant, then we leave. So there's no father. They're having to work all these jobs and stuff. And so they started getting this concept of, if I have to do all of this, what do I need you for other than sex? Which that's crazy too. It's a whole nother topic. But
We get out of
the
position.
yeah, yeah. Uh, the last bulletin, not bulletin, bullet point is this a potential relationship? Questions, many questions at the beginning as well throughout the relationship till the end, paying close attention to possible red flags. So if, and it's just my opinion, only off of my experience, if you find yourself saying, okay, hey, I think this is a potential boo thing, then yeah, we stated this like earlier, bombs away, ask questions, ladies, definitely ask men a whole bunch of questions. The best one ever, do you want kids? Cause because if you don't want kids and this person want kids, you should not get in a relationship with a man that want kids. I'm just gonna be dead straight up honest with you, because soon as you don't establish this at the very beginning, and this person then y'all do to get kids, now you have animosity towards this man about not wanting kids. You're talking to your friends, but not this person. And this man is happy because he got kids, but you're not. So you didn't establish that at the very beginning. And I think that's what that openness should be at the very beginning. If you seriously are thinking about dating someone, put your cards on the table. This is what I am looking for in a relationship. And if that person doesn't fit um that description of the position that you're offering for your company, you move on. Just me personally.
I mean, I think it leads to the discussion about honesty and transparency. You have to know exactly what you want, and you have to be okay with that. Oftentimes,
Yeah.
we have these ideals based on what it says. You want to get married, you have these kids, and this white picket fence life. But there are some people who don't want children. There are some people who they would rather their spouse stay home with the kid, and they
Mm,
work. There are all these different scenarios, and we have tried to define our relationships by what somebody told us in times past or what is acceptable to the culture. But we have to really get honest with ourselves, because a lot of people are in damaged relationships because they weren't honest to say this is what I wanted. If you know you don't want kids, there's nothing wrong with you because you choose not to have children. And so people
exactly.
say, "Oh, well, I got to have kids for this person. I got to do this." The only thing you need to do is to make sure you've done what is right between the two of you, because that's what's going to either stand or fall at the end of the day. So there shouldn't be children who are dealing with frustration because there's a parent that didn't want them. There shouldn't be these
Hmm.
arguments between the two of you because there were things you didn't discuss. You need to talk about your money. You need to talk about what kind of kids you want. You need to talk about where you want to live, what you want to live like.
Yeah.
All of these things. Where is your faith base? Is this person Christian? Is this person Buddhist? Are you going to become Christian? It's all of these things, because if we really start to dial back, it's a lot of things we never talked about because we wanted the marriage, we wanted the
Yes.
wedding.
The
I wouldn't say we
titles.
wanted the marriage, right? We wanted the titles, we wanted the boyfriend or the girlfriend or whatever.
Yep.
But we have to get really honest and say, this is about my life, because you can change your whole trajectory because you get in the wrong relationship. You don't realize that there is a path and there's a vision and there's something that you're coming together to do. And so
Hmm.
you can get in the wrong situation and throw your whole path off because you made some decisions that now you're going to have to rewire some things in order to get to where you need to go. And you're like, why do I feel delayed? Why did you get into that situation? And then people will say, oh, well, this was who God had for me. Was that really who God had for you, or was that who you chose?
Mm, that's the better one right there. Did you? What did I? It's like I was telling you, my purpose, my assignment. He gave me as a young child. I ran from it, trying to pick all these other assignments that did not work, and I found myself constantly falling on my face. And so I second that with everything that you just basically stated.
There are people who
Again,
know they heard God say, leave.
yep.
That is not the one for you. And you were just like, I can make them the one for me. And God is like, leave. And you're like, but I can fix this. And you wonder that you got into the marriage and now you're upset, and you're upset with God. And it's like, God had nothing to do with that. That was you.
Yes. Boy. Woo. Wait. Rewind. Say that one more time.
There are people upset with God right now because of a relationship you chose.
Mm,
God told you to leave. You heard, you saw the red flags. Just as your last point stated, there are red flags. We like to say, oh, I didn't see them. Yes, you did. You chose to ignore them.
yep.
And
Chose
so
to
we have
ignore.
to go, what? And that if you talk to anybody who's gone through divorce or gone through a breakup, they can tell you in hindsight, but they don't know how to talk about it when they're in the midst of it, because they're like, oh, but I love them. But you saw they weren't good with their money. Oh, but I love them. You saw they didn't take care of their kids. Oh, that emotion caused you to stay in something that you knew you needed to leave. And so now you're in this war with yourself, you're in this war with God, all of this because you did not have the honest conversation to say, I know I
Mm,
should have left. All of us who have been in relationships that didn't work out, you saw the day that it was the
yep.
sticking up on the wall. It's a screaming at you saying, leave, but you keep staying because you think you can fix it. I can make it better. No, you have to really know the voice of God for yourself, and you have to really get into prayer, and you have to be willing to put it up on the altar. And if God
uh,
says this is not the one, you have to be willing to walk away.
the sad thing is that a lot of them do have that form of connection, and God opened the door. He opens the window. He leaves a crack. And they go back in their clothes. Ooh, there's a breeze coming through. Let me close it right quick.
Like, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh man, that's like awesome that you said that, cause it's just. And I've talked to a lot of people in my years that have turned away from their faith base that they had due to because supposedly God didn't answer their what they thought was true assignment to be with this person, and stuff didn't happen and whatnot. Or you see people on the outside and stuff is just going wrong for them, and they're like hell bent on being with this person. Um, I can say at the end of when my marriage ended, when I knew it ended,
Mhm.
my excuse for myself was I'm unable to work. I'm a disabled man. What woman is going to want me? Because society has basically placed out in the atmosphere that a woman is not going to want to take care of a man. She needs a provider, a protector. Having mobility issues. Heck, don't even throw sex in because at one point in my life I had ED. So, it was a thing for me like, dang, if I leave this situation, which, like you said, it became a situation for years. If I leave this situation, where am I going to be at? And I didn't love myself enough in those moments to realize that regardless if a woman wanted to be with me or not, as long as I had myself and God and a way and someone was going to be provided. And once I start realizing that, and I start realizing that I was broken myself to be
Mhm.
thinking in that way, that's when I started my journey and understanding that God has always been here and opening those doors. Or when you sit and you pray, hey, God, can you please get me out this relationship? And He's opened those doors for you to get out, but you just kept walking past and and so many people
Like,
do that.
stop praying about it.
And I've said this so many times on the show. It took God coming by way of a counselor saying that, hey, Mr. Williams, I love your money. Best thing ever. But we got two things. Either you're gonna come in and stop talking about this situation, or you're gonna leave. Just plain and simple. If you're gonna stay, there's no need for you to constantly complain about something that you're staying in on your own behalf. Because she, regardless of being married, even though there's a paper bind on top of what's supposed to be spiritual, they're really not holding you there. And something that I've learned where if you find yourself in a toxic marriage, that's not something that God wants. Marriage is wasn't invented for toxicity. And I think, people tend to use the Bible incorrectly to benefit themselves. It's definitely when it comes to a relationship, definitely men when it comes to trying to control women.
Mhm.
They pick out specific verses
It works.
and whatnot. So I say, with it being a potential relationship, guys, questions. When we stated that, just seriously, don't be afraid to open yourself up, knowing that this person just may not have the capacity, like she said, to understand who you are and what you're wanting in a relationship. And if that is the case, don't beat yourself up by this maybe being the 10th person that doesn't have the capacity. Because you don't want to find yourself crossing that line and being in a marriage. And if you're anything like me, to get a divorce was like, that hurt my soul, because it was like, once I get married, that's it. I
Mhm.
believe in it. Divorce is not an option. So for me to do that, that bothered me.
Divorce is a
And
painful thing. It's hard
and
and it's
yeah,
a grief.
and it was so sad. It wasn't that because I was leaving that person. It was just the fact that I was in a marriage,
Mhm.
and it we like say this, and then we're gonna move to your video. Something that you stated, those signs, having those signs at the very beginning and just looking past it. And I dug right into that fix mode. And I do say that also helped me stay there, because once I saw that person for who she truly was, not the person that I married, I thought that, at least since I'm staying here because of a woman not wanting me, maybe I can fix her for the person that she's trying to go out to be with.
I know.
Yeah, like why? Like wow, why would you want to do something like that, right? So
Yeah,
guys,
sometimes that helps us to deal with it. It
I'm
helps
gonna
us to
play
cope.
this lovely video that drew me to Miss Smith, and we're gonna allow her to talk about it a little bit more, definitely when it comes to relationships as well. So let's play. Oh crap! I'm sorry, guys. I keep messing up. Do y'all hear the video? Do you hear the video, Miss Smith?
No,
Oh Lord, hold on, guys. I'm sorry.
the
I'm
wonderful
sitting up
world of
here.
technology.
I know, right? Got to be more careful. Okay, let's see. Can you hear it now?
No.
You're really gonna do me like this? And it was working earlier. Hold on, guys. I might just have to move on without the video. Uh, let's see. 1 second. Mm, 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 mm. Well, ain't that something?
Question: do you understand the assignment? That's a popular phrase we hear now because of the song. But the question is, do we really understand our assignment? Many people are trying to live into other people's assignments based on what's trending, what's popular, what somebody thinks you should be doing. But the reality is, we have to ask ourselves, is that our assignment? I liken it to the story when we look at David as he prepares to go out into battle against Goliath. Before David goes, Saul tries to give David his armor to prepare him and equip him to go out to battle. David quickly realizes this is not part of my assignment. And
You
so
able
he
to hear
strips
now?
those things off because he recognizes he has everything he needs in his bag to fulfill the assignment. Even with the giant taunting him, David does not shirk back. Instead, he runs forward. He's confident because he understands, one, what the assignment is. Two, he understands that he has everything that he needs. And three, he understands in what power and authority he can go out and do these things. Part of my assignment as a life coach and pastor is to help others, help my clients to identify their assignment, help them to identify their purpose, and help them to understand what resources they have within them to be able to fulfill the assignment. So today I ask you, do you understand the assignment? If you don't, that's okay. I would love to journey with you in a discovery session to help you to identify what is your assignment and to understand what that assignment entails and understand what resources you already have within you to be able to fulfill the assignment. So today I challenge us to understand the assignment so that we can walk confidently knowing that we have everything we need to fulfill it and to bring it to pass. And that's how you live an exceptional life.
I liked that so much, and it just really spoke out to, um, even though that your message wasn't totally relationship based, but it was in so many ways
Mhm.
because we find ourselves accepting assignments, but we put our own spin on what that assignment is versus what that assignment is truly is. We do adaptation of it.
Mhm.
Like, so I go back to those bullet points where friend, uh, help this person heal, or actual potential relationship.
Mhm.
Those are just some assignments that you have when you first meet someone. And if I think it's safe to say, if you don't know yourself, it's easy to not understand an assignment going into communicating with someone.
It's very true. I mean, we have to know ourselves first because you'll know what you should and should not get involved with by knowing who you are first. When you understand where God is taking you, what assignment is on your life, what calling, where you're headed, you'll know what to filter out and you'll know what questions to even ask to start to see, is this somebody that should be something I get involved with? And then you have to also be open to being prayerful to understand, what is this assignment? An assignment is a specified task. And so we have to understand, what is that task, that assignment that we have been given with this person? Is this person somebody that we are just to be friends with? Is this assignment somebody that I'm supposed to journey with for them to complete something, whether it's healing, whether it's getting them to the next level, to getting them to go back to school if that was something that you're doing? Or is this somebody that's a lifelong partnership? But if this is a lifelong partnership, then you start to have to understand, what is our assignment together? Because I believe when God brings us together with somebody, there is something that we are to do together. There's a reason why this relationship exists, to get us to that place that God has for us. And so we have to be careful to understand first, who am I? What is my assignment for my life? And then I start to look at, how do I evaluate my friendships, my business partnerships, my relationships, my romantic relationships, the associations, the networks that I get involved in, because all of those are assignments. But if you don't start with you first, and have I healed? Do I realize my growing edges, as we would say, instead of saying the bad spots,
Yeah.
understanding all of these things that are within me, can I go into this in a healthy way and be able to see it for what it is? Am I okay with this person just being my friend? I can if I understand the assignment. Can I help
Mm,
this person get to their healing? I can because I understand I have the
in the
resources
sign. Yeah.
within me to do this. Can I be in this romantic relationship even though I may have come through years of baggage and a bad home life and all of these things? I can because I understand one, I'm assigned to this relationship, but I also understand if I'm assigned to it, then I have the resources within me, and I will continue to fine tune them so that we can continue on this journey together. So we have to understand what is my assignment, and then I can start to look at the assignments around me.
Mm. And now, see, I think that that's how a lot of people miss out on potential long-term relationships, because not wanting to start over for one thing, and um, are not healing or trying to heal. Um, I I'm gonna ask this question, and maybe you could, um, when you find yourself, like with me personally, unfortunately, prior to my marriage, I did find myself in relationships where I just, I dug in so deep, and I stayed until I just didn't have enough energy anymore to complete the supposed task that I thought that I was supposed to do. And then I finally found myself, well, majority of the time they left me. And so then I found myself going to the next project because that's pretty much what it ended up um, being. So is it safe to say when a situation becomes a project that I don't know if I want to say that it can't be a potential relationship?
I'll put it this way, it starts with prayer. That did this come together in this project, as you would say, but it's to evolve into something? Or is it that I was just here for this particular season? We have to be careful not to mix that up because we can mix up seasons and think they're lifetime. But it starts with us going in prayer first to see what is this supposed to become and being okay with the answer that we get.
I'm so sorry. I just got kicked. I just got kicked out. My computer kicked me out. So I'm guessing they trying to tell me that I need to get off. um,
Technology.
but I definitely appreciate it, Miss Smith. I am going to take this as a needed, sir. You have overstayed your welcome with great information. Uh, for some reason, this just happens when people are actually trying to help in so many ways. So I totally appreciate everything. And like I tell all new guests, if you're welcome to it. We do at least 12 episodes a season. I can shoot titles over to you. We have number guesses on certain shows, and sometimes it's just one person or just me by myself. But if you would like, I can add you to that list.
I'd be happy to help.
All righty. Well, with that being said, ma'am, I do appreciate it, guys. In the description, you can find her links to her YouTube, information about her TikTok, her social media information. So feel free to reach out to her. As you can see, she's very insightful on a lot of things. And again, that's what drew me into asking her to do this show with me tonight. And I'm so happy that she did, regardless of the technical difficulties that
Well, it comes with the territory.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss Smith, we do appreciate everything. And until next time, hopefully we can get you back on.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
You too. And you have a nice night, okay?
Same to you.
Guys, I do apologize. I have a slight idea what happened. My computer said, no, you're not going to do this. And so I'm going to go ahead and end it on a good note. Hopefully this helped. If you guys can please share it for me. This was a great show. Definitely going to try and see if I can get Miss Smith back up in the lineup with all the other lovely speakers. And you guys have a great night.